Yes, folks, it's John G. Sutton here. Tales from the Jails. Don't forget to read my book, folks. HM Prison Officer, Manchester. That's the one. Anyway, it's on Amazon, by the way. I highly recommend the audio version. And what I want to talk to you today about Albert Pierrepoint. He was the probably Britain's most best known hangman. I've got a photograph of him here. Here we are. It's not a very good photograph because it's obviously just one I've taken off the thing, but you'll be able to see it, yeah? That's Albert Pierrepoint, yeah? You can see that, yeah, there we go. That's Albert, yeah? Sat in front of a TV screen probably in the 1950s. And he ran a pub in Greater Manchester called Help the Poor Struggler. He was actually, he knew my father, who was a police officer in Manchester. Well, he would know a lot of people, wouldn't he? But anyway, he was Britain's most best known hangman. And there was recently a short documentary on him called Witness History on BBC Radio 4. It's available in BBC Radio Sounds. You can get that on the internet, and I will put a link down below here, down below the top link. That it'll say BBC Sounds. You click on that, it'll take you to Albert Pierrepoint talking about how he became a hangman. It seems that his father was a hangman, his grandfather a hangman before him, and that when he was about 12 or 13, he was asked at school what he wanted to be when he became an adult, and he said he wanted to be a hangman. I mean, if I was the teacher and one of the students at the age of 12, 13 told me they wanted to be a hangman, I would refer them for psychological assessment. It's a strange thing to want to be, isn't it? Yeah, but he was a very ordinary kind of guy. He worked for, as you listen to the thing anyway, click on it and listen to it. I won't spoil it for you, but it's very interesting. A very ordinary kind of guy, and he worked as a hangman for a considerable period of time, conducting over, I think it was over 400 hangings he conducted in the UK, and he was the official hangman for a number of the trials of German war criminals at the end of World War II. Yeah, I have another connection with that, by the way. The Nuremberg trials. One of the dock officers there was a soldier who was the father of one of my friends. And he was telling me that when he was there in Germany in the 1940s, he actually drove Hitler's Mercedes-Benz. He said, what an incredible car it was. He didn't drive it all the time. It was there, and he had a driver in Berlin, I believe it was. But anyway, transgressing somewhat, yeah, but Albert Pierrepoint, Witness History on BBC iPlayer Sounds. You can get that online. The link is down below, and he talks about how he went over to Germany specifically to conduct the hangings of the guards and the staff at the concentration camp known as Bergen-Belsen. And I have personally been to Bergen-Belsen. I went there about 1968-69 and had a look at this place, and it's quite a strange thing. It's very silent, you know. And it sounds strange, but you don't hear the sounds of birds or wild animals around the place, but you certainly didn't when I went 50-odd years ago. And what they'd done at Bergen-Belsen, there was no gas chambers at Bergen-Belsen. They just allowed them to starve to death. And that's exactly what they did. Because I believe it was mismanaged. That's how it all started. I mean, they put these big camps up, put guards in charge of them and a commanding officer. Of course, you get the guards saying, I was only doing my duties, you know. That's the problem with that. you see. You do get told to do certain things that are obviously offences against humanity. Now, it's beholden upon the individual to refuse to undertake what amounts to an unlawful order. Now, I believe that anything that absolutely damages the life and well-being of another individual is an unlawful order. And these I challenge, not only in the prison service, but also in the military. Which it tends to make you not too popular, but I mean, at least you're standing by your word. You know, you've got your own dignity, and you're not going to do it. Are you with me? I certainly wouldn't undertake kicking people up and down the landings, for instance. I'd grab them, take them, and put them in a place of safety so they couldn't injure themselves or other people. Yes. But as for actually kicking them about, I mean, if I was attacked, I defend myself. That's what people do. But anyway, I highly recommend, I'm all over the place here today, aren't I? But I highly recommend that you listen to Witness History about Albert Pierrepoint. And he talks about how he hung them. And he said he had to see each individual prisoner because he had to get the height and the weight, for the level of the drop. Because the idea about hanging is it's not about strangulation. You know, it's not about that. It's about snapping the neck, That's why they put the thick part of the rope under your neck. It throws your head backwards when you drop down. And it throws your head backwards, breaks your neck, and you're instantly dead. It severs the central nervous column, so you're dead. It's certainly effective. And Albert Pierrepoint used to say it took him on an average of about 30 seconds from going into the cell to actually dropping the prisoner through the trapdoor to his death or her death. Because he did hang. He hung a number of women. One of them was Ruth Ellis. Another one was Mrs. Merriweather. And she haunts Strangeways, by the way. Really does, It haunts I-3 landing and Strangeways. I've seen the ghost myself. Not exactly fully formulated, but as a dark shadow. The inmate in the cell, he was banging on the door, screaming and shouting, "There's a woman in my cell," and it was Mrs. Merriweather. Oh, seriously, because that's the cell that she was held in before she was taken to her execution. And she was hung by Albert Pierrepoint. So there you have it. That's today's little ramble about him. And he was very active at Strangeways. And Strangeways Prison, in its time as a site of execution, there was 100 hangings at Strangeways. And the bodies were buried in unconsecrated ground that is inside the walls of Strangeways. In fact, you want to know where the bodies are? Let me tell you. You go through the main gate, what was the old main gates. They're shut down now, they don't use them now. You go through what was the old main gates, into the centre of the prison, directly before F-Wing. Turn right, turn right. So F-Wing is on your left, that's the landing, that's the wing leading into the main part of the prison. Go straight up, follow the outside wall, right to the top, and that's where the bodies are, down there, next to the wall. When they were refurbishing the offices in 1979, they dug up a number of the bodies, and they were disinterred from their unmarked grave in Strangeways and taken out and buried in a graveyard outside. I believe it was done by the prison chaplain. Anyway, I've had a lot of rave reviews for my singing of George Formby songs, which brings me to the song dinger, because I'm going to do one more here, and then it's going to be the end of the George Formby season on Tales from the Jails. Do like and subscribe and all the rest of it, and don't forget to have a look at my book. Here we go. This is a song. My mate Joe Cooper used to sing this when he came to visit me. He had a ukulele. I have a ukulele, can't play it though. And this is what my mate Joe used to play. But this is originally recorded by George Formby. It's My Grandad's Flannelette Nightshirt. Now in our family we've got a heirloom. They handed it to me a year ago. It's been in our possession since Grandad was a lad. I'll tell you what it is and then you'll know. It's my Grandad's flannelette nightshirt. In it I was christened one day. Down at the church they were all in a whirl. No one seemed to know if I was boy or girl. They'd had one or two, and they were in a mess. But it's all right, they said. The preacher was curt. I've been and had a quiz, and I found out what it is by his Grandad's flannelette shirt. Lordy, lordy, his Grandad's flannelette shirt. In 1810, Grandfather joined the army to fight Napoleon across the sea. You've heard about the battle they had at Waterloo. Well, that was what us brought victory. Why, my Grandad's flannelette nightshirt, it saved old England that day. Bonaparte, he said, we are undone, and even Josephine put her gas mask on. He shot down our colours and captured our flag, but we were not downhearted, it's a cert. For flying in the gale, everybody could see the tail of me Grandad's flannelette shirt. Lordy, lordy, my Grandad's flannelette shirt. The other day I got an invitation to go and join a nudist colony. And as the life is healthy and in the open air, I trotted off as happy as could be. With my Grandad's flannelette nightshirt, I walked up to the door. Someone said, now don't make a fuss, just take off your clothes and you'll be like us. I was bashful, so I stayed beside myself, for with the girls I didn't want to flirt. But when I fell asleep, they came and had a peep at my Grandad's flannelette shirt. Lordy, lordy, my Grandad's flannelette shirt. Well, there you are. I hope you survived that. That shirt didn't, did it? They probably ripped it up now when they heard that. The end of a famous nightshirt. Destroyed by John G. Sutton. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you're liking and enjoying these rather eccentric tales from the jails.